You want a handmade wardrobe, but you don't want to spend 500 on material you risk to ruin, or £1,000 on the machinery and tools you're not going to be using. Today I'm giving you a realistic starter kit. Most people buy fabric first. Don't. First of all, refer to your existing clothes. If you're looking for fabric for a new garment, it should align with your existing clothing. Otherwise, you're risking to get another piece of clothing you're not going to be wearing. One more piece of clutter in your fabric stash or in your wardrobe. And of course, you need to make sure that it suits your current body shape and your current style. Doing this will definitely help you to beat this initial urge to buy. It will stop this itch even for a moment, or if it was just an impulse buy call. If after all this analyze, you still want to buy this piece of fabric because you like the color or the texture of it, just add it to your basket and let it mature there. Because while having it in your online basket, you will have plenty of time to make a decision on a garment. Look for similar designs on Pinterest, Google, Instagram, and then if you choose one, if you find the design you like, and after a few days you still like the fabric and you're getting more excited about this new project, then go for it. We're still allowed to make our choices and our mistakes, or maybe it will become the best piece of your wardrobe. At least it will be a serious and thoughtful decision, not just an impulse. But seriously, if we are looking to get an intentional, curated wardrobe, we have to start from a different direction. And first of all, we need to identify the gap in our wardrobe to fill it first. See what you really need and lack of. For example, when I did an audit of my wardrobe, I identified the gap as a lack of tops. Any type of tops really, but especially these long sleeve, simple tops. I could layer with any knitwear or leather jackets or coats, or even use an additional layer under the dress. As a result, I'm currently working on 2 long sleeve tops, and you can see my progress and behind the scenes in this video here. And actually, after having my audit done, I've created a checklist, and I use this specific checklist to plan my wardrobe so I don't waste money. If you want to use the same one, please find the link down below in description. Now let's talk about pattern. There is a different opinions on that. Some people say it's better to buy commercial ones. Some say it's more freedom to draw straight on the fabric. I can tell you, as a person who recently started the sewing journey, I use both approaches. I have commercial patterns to use, and sometimes I buy more when I feel the need in them. However, I started creating without pattern whatsoever. A few videos on YouTube was very helpful, showing how to draw your pattern straight on the fabric, just using your measurement, and I did. And obviously, first items weren't perfect, but I'm wearing them till these days and not planning to get rid of them anytime soon. And the latest creation, as you can see here, there is not much. I'm sure you won't be able to tell the difference. However, if you are planning to create something really complicated, the very intricate detailed dress or coat, then it would be better to use the properly constructed, calculated pattern to avoid any fabric wastage. And my personal tip, don't buy a single-use pattern. Look for sets like wardrobe builders, or sometime you can buy the pattern for dress, but when you look inside you can see it's not just a dress. You can construct the top and maybe few varieties of top and few varieties of dress. That would be your go-to. Materials. Tip: shop your home first. At least when you're just in the beginning of your journey, don't try to buy expensive piece of fabric, because first items won't be your best creation. So don't try to challenge yourself too much, because it could put you off. Instead, old bedding, bed throws, any husband's t-shirts, tees, and anything you can find. Avoid slippery or difficult fabrics like silk, viscose, jerseys as your first project. Stick to stable cottons or chunky wools. These materials will save your valuable time from woofing and poofing, resource wastage, and will allow you to learn whatever skill you try to conquer. One of my first sewing projects was this dress. Just a cheap cotton, and I adore this dress as my loungewear. By the way, I made it without pattern, just using my measurements and drawing straight on the fabric. I'm gonna make the whole series about materials, because it's impossible to tell all the tips in one short video. But I need to mention that at all costs, avoid plastics, acrylic, polyesters, and so on. Maybe some activewear is alright. However, if you can use natural fabrics, go for it. Your body will thank you. By the way, if you disagree with me, I'm happy to discuss it in the comments. And here I'm going to give you the short example to prove my point. After 4 years of actively using this garment as a cardigan, regular washing in a washing machine, I'm able to upcycle it into a brand new sweater. By the way, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see the final result. This is 100% camel hair. I would not be able to do that if the cardigan was made of acrylic. I had acrylics and polyester clothing before, and I don't have anything to show you now because they looked so bad and were not salvageable. I still feel guilty for throwing them away, but I was unable to turn them into anything, not even good for cleaning cloth. Tell me in the comments, what is the one expensive project you made that you never actively wear? Let's confess our sins below. Tools. I'm gonna give you the overview today so you can start project this weekend. But if you want a nerdy deep dive into which sewing machine to buy or which knitting needles are worth the splurge, make sure you're subscribed. I'm filming a dedicated tools and machinery masterclass for March. You don't need the fancy gadgets yet. Let me show you my most used tools and machinery. Good scissors. Hide them from your family. I already lost one pair to my husband, who turned it into a house scissors. But if seriously, you need at least one pair of good quality sharp scissors. Worth the investment. Ideally, you will also require a pair of small scissors for intricate jobs, like they call it embroidery scissors. Something like that. Recently, I've got myself a seam ripper, and it is my go-to tool now, especially for an intentional wardrobe, which will eventually require repairs and upcycling. Tape measure, ruler, set of needles and set of pins, or set of safety pins like that. Piece of chalk, ideally two, one in white and one in dark color. This list is a common list of tools and will work for you if you're gonna sew, knit or crochet. For sewing specifically, you will need a sewing machine. This is mine. Very basic, nothing extraordinary. It has main stitches, reliable make. And if you're getting into sewing difficult materials or jerseys, then you will definitely want to add an overlocker machine. But believe me, not immediately. And again, as you can see, mine is very basic model with very basic functions. If you're looking into creating your own knitwear by knitting or crocheting or both, then obviously you will need that sort of tooling. You will need the knitting needles and crochet hook. But before you run into the hobby shop, calm down. We're not here to start shopping therapy. When I was in a situation when all my knitting and crocheting supply left behind after I got married and moved to the different country, I started from scratch. And at first I decided what yarn I want to knit, and after getting this yarn, I bought my first set of knitting needles, specifically for this yarn thickness. Don't try to buy a set of needles and hooks because you don't know yet what materials you prefer. Wood, bamboo, metal, plastic, interchangeable. As you can see here, I have a set of different size materials, knitting needles. And I bought them all slowly over time. I also have a set of sock needles. They're all bamboo, and I bought them a long time ago, and they all in the fives. So each size present in the 5 units. And when the last time I knitted socks? Never. But they look good there. And nowadays you even can buy second-hand sets. And as a little bonus, I will mention my knitting machine. Do you need it if you're a starter? No. It is a nice to have option, and it was perfect for me for the time when I took custom orders. But in normal circumstances, I prefer to knit with hands because it's a therapy. If you're interested and want to know more about knitting machines, what is on the market, how they work and its pros and cons, don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so you won't miss the video on coming weeks. Now that you have the tools, you need the budget. Watch this video next to see how I planned my entire capsule wardrobe for £50.